I currently work full-time as a marketer. I write books on the side and I have a writing business. So how do I do it all? Well, I found ways to stay productive without getting burnout. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the ways that I do it. I'm going to talk about a short summary of each of these 7 books, and I'm going to teach you the actionable ways that you as a writer can use them. And the first step is to reset your mindset. To be able to become as productive as possible, you need to shift your mindset. And how do you do that? Well, the first book I wanted to talk about is Willpower Doesn't Work by Benjamin Hardy. And this book really flipped my understanding when it came to productivity. Hardy argues that relying solely on willpower is a losing battle. So instead, he emphasizes that you need to design an environment that is good, that has good habits, and that makes it easier. Well, how do you do that? A great quote from the book is, "You shape the garden of your mind by planting specific things from your environment, such as the books you read, the experience you have, and the people you surround yourself with." And for writers, this means that setting up a space that makes distractions harder and writing easier. Like, declutter your desk and start to write ritual. When I did this, suddenly I wasn't fighting myself to get something written on the page. I also realized that it's okay to say no to things that, does not put me where I want to go. So this is a very important lesson, at least for me, because I used to be a real people pleaser, and learning how to say no when it does not push me further towards the goals that I have was so important. Willpower doesn't work, and sometimes we need to step away from people and surroundings that doesn't, take us on the road to the goals we want. Hardy also writes, write your goal down daily. Then, in your morning mental state, you should write down everything you need to do to achieve your goal. This includes the people you want to reach out to. It also includes what you should do this week and even this day relating to that thing. And I think that is also a really important lesson. Like, if you want to do something, you should have a plan. So break down the steps that you need to take to be able to finish the book you're working on or to publish it or whatever you want to do. But if you don't have a plan, you're never going to get there. And the second book on this topic is The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. Pressfield introduces the concept of resistance, which is some invisible force that tries to stop us from doing meaningful creative work. He writes, rule of thumb, the more important a call of action is to your soul's evolution, the more resistance we will feel towards pursuing it. And once you recognize resistance is it loses its power. For me, that meant that I had to realize that I'm not lazy, I'm just human, and that I need to start fighting for my work. If I feel resistance, if I feel like procrastinating, then I should just push through and remind myself that most of us live 2 lives, the life we live and the lives unlived within us. Between us stands resistance, and this is such a great book if you're someone who has a hard time like getting started or you want to feel motivated and stuff like that. So this helped me push through some really hard blockages and made me realize that I just need to do it. And he has one quote that is aimed at our writers. So there's a secret that the real writers know that wannabe writers don't. That secret is, it's not the writing part that is hard. It's hard. What's hard is sitting down to write. What keeps us from sitting down is resistance. And the third book I wanted to talk about on this topic is The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. And Robin writes that what I discovered is powerful. Pushing yourself to take simple actions create a chain reaction in your confidence and your productivity. And, this is one of the simplest tools in this entire video, and it really works. And her tool is that when you hesitate to do something, you should count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just start. This sort of countdown creates an interruption in your brain which means that when you start to hesitate, you start to build up all these reasons why you shouldn't do something that is a little bit uncomfortable, maybe you're scared of doing. And once you do this countdown, that will like stop that thought pattern and help you to do it. So, when I do something that is a little bit scary, like talking in front of people or filming a video or whatever, then instead of like trying to pull myself out of doing it, I'll use this tool and just do it. And another great quote from the book is, "There is no right time. There's only right now. You get one life. This is it. And it's not going to begin again. It's up to you to push yourself and to make the most out of this time to do with it right now." I really, really love that quote. It hit me so hard. Now that you have the right mindset, let's take a look at some of the systems and strategies that you can use. So book number 4 is Getting Things Done by David Allen. And this book has been a game changer when it comes to both my professional life and my writing. Because the thing is, our brains are meant to, get a lot of ideas, but not to hold them. If we try to remember everything that we need to do and stuff like that, then we won't get anything done because it takes too much memory. And the key takeaways is, instead of trying to remember anything, I've built a super simple system in Notion, which are the place for me to put down ideas, tasks, planning for the week. I have all my writing projects there. I have my social media. I have when I'm supposed to publish videos on YouTube. And this kind of system is a lifesaver. It's one of my favorite quotes from Alan's book is, "There's always more to do than you can do, and you can only do one thing at a time." The key is to feel as good about what you're not doing as about what you are doing at the moment. So try to find a system that works for you to be productive. And book number 5 is The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And this book was actually a surprise. At first, I rolled my eyes a little bit about the title, like 4-Hour Workweek, really? How am I going to do that? But then when I read it, it was a lot about how you can eliminate and automate and delegate things that you don't have to do. And this is also something that, at least for me, I like to do everything myself. But the thing is, I should probably focus on the things where I'm needed or when I'm the expert. I know that Joanna Penn talks a lot about this in the Productive Author Mindset book, or I don't remember the title of the book, but in that one as well, like in your core competence where no one else can do the job for you, like writing the books for you. No one else can write my books. So that's something that I should put my energy in. But other things like maybe cutting this video, I could actually delegate to someone else. I don't right now, but in the future, I plan to, because that is not something that is a core competence for me. There will probably be people who are much better at doing that. And in the 4-Hour Workweek, this is a lot of, like, one of the things that Ferriss talks a lot about. And here is a brilliant quote from the book that I'm going to read for you. "Someday is a disease that will take your dreams to the grave with you. Pros and cons lists are just as bad. If it's important to you and you want to do it eventually, just do it and correct the course along the way." And after reading this quote, I started asking myself, do I really need to do this? And some of the things, on my to-do list, I started batch creating. I created templates. I stopped doing things that don't move my writing career forward. And, you don't need to follow Ferriss's lifestyle to benefit from his mindset to protect your time. Prioritize deep work. And another quote from the book is, "Parkinson's law dictates that tasks will swell in perceived importance and complexity in relation to the time allotted for its completion." And the thing is that this is something that is so important for us as writers. It's so easy to let a book project keep running for years at end without finishing it. I've done it myself. So, if you want to be more productive, make a plan, set a deadline, and try to do it. And if you fail, that's fine too. one key to being successful that most successful people know is that, they never stop trying. When they fail, they learn and they keep on going. They have a system to fall back on and another mindset than us. And in the third section, I want to talk about focus and habits. So one of my favorite books on this topic is, of course, Atomic Habits by James Clear. It really helped change the way I write and the way I think about productivity. So if I were to recommend one book for you to read, it would be this one. And, Clear makes the case that big results start from small, consistent actions. And that identity shapes our behavior. Yeah. So instead of saying, I want to write a book, you should say, I'm a writer. And what does a writer do? They write more or less every day. And a great quote from the book on this topic is, decide the type of person you want to be. Prove it to yourself again and again with small wins. And, I created a morning ritual to become the person I want to be. I start by meditating for 15 minutes, then I write my morning pages, and after that, I sit down and write somewhere between 30 and 60 minutes each and every single day. These small steps, the thing is, I've done it for so long now, for more than 700 days, that waking up in itself has become a cue for me to start writing. And all these small steps with writing consistently each and every day, that has moved the needle with my writing so much that I can't believe it. I think it's 7 manuscripts that are in some way or form. Some of them are just rough drafts and some of them are almost almost done now. So that's a lot from going, from just having one book out. Claire says it better than me. Time magnifies the margins between success and failure. It will multiply whatever you feed it. Good habits make time your ally. Bad habits make time your enemy. And, I actually made an entire video about the learnings I've had from Atomic Habits. So I'm going to link that in the description box if you want to watch it. And if this video is helping you in any form or way, I would love if you hit the like button and comment it so that more writers like you can find it. Okay, let's talk about focus. So the 7th book that I want to talk about is Deep Work by Newport. And this book helped me realize that there's a big difference between deep work and deep focus and busy work. And, if you've never heard about busy work and deep work, the way that I interpret it is that deep work, that's when we get flow, that's when we write and we lose time and we don't let ourselves be distracted, not by work emails, not by our phones, not by anything. And for me to go into deep work, I use an app that blocks all of my social media and all of this stuff. I think calls can get through, that's the only thing, but nothing else, so that I don't get tempted to look at social media, so that I don't get tempted to watch a YouTube tutorial about how that works. I can check facts or go on social media later. When I focus, I want to go into deep focus mode, and this book really helped me understanding that, how important it is and how rare it is for us to do that right now. Sometimes, at the office, there is a culture that it's okay to go and disturb someone, just ask a question. The problem in doing that is maybe they're in flow, and when you disturb them, it takes, I don't know, maybe it's 20 minutes to get back into focus. And the same with emails and pop-ups that show up on your computer. So, try to let yourself focus at least for a few hours a week if you can, both at your work or with your writing. I usually use the Pomodoro method to do this. I love using that method, and I plan to do lives with the Pomodoro method so that we can write together soon. But yeah, and busy work, that's basically when you do stuff. It's the 80% of stuff that we do that don't give that much result. And I think it's from this book that he says that 80% of the success, or progress with our work come from 20% of the work. So if you focus on those 20%, which usually require you to go into deep focus because that's hard work, but that's 80% of the results. I think it's the same with our writing. It's those times that we actually sit down and write, not procrastinate and go, I'm just going to go and do some research. I'm just going to, that's busy work. It's not getting you anywhere. It feels like you're working on your book, but you're actually not. You're just doom scrolling, saying that it's research. So yeah, this was super helpful to understand that. And even just a couple of deep work sessions a week can totally change your momentum as a writer. I use this technique at my everyday job so that I can get the most out of each and every day without feeling burnt out. So let's recap. Here are my top 3 takeaways from the 7 books that I've read. The first one is that is that design beats discipline. You don't need to try harder. You need to make your writing easier and avoid things that make it hard. The second one is that focus is a muscle and you should train it. So if you can create protected time to focus, and you will make a lot more progress than most people. Number 3 is that you're not lazy. You're fighting with resistance. Writing is hard because it matters, and you are capable of it. Also, you're not alone. And so if this gave you some idea of how you can improve your writing, how you can become more productive, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Do you have any book that has helped you become more productive or more creative? Please leave me a comment so that I can read it and become a better writer. And until I see you again, happy writing!